Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First up on the agenda is the review of minutes from past meetings. Council, you should have the February 15th, 2024 meeting minutes in your packet. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 15th Town Council meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we need to wait a few minutes for the public hearing, right? So can we just jump to the budget presentation and then we'll?
Sure.
Is that
we
cool?
can do that.
Is that all right with
Karen,
everybody?
Come on.
Yes.
Only take
Karen's
5
going
minutes.
to come up and do this with me here.
5 minutes worth. 5.
Yeah, quick. It'll be quick. Get the check.
Good, that'll take a minute and then,
Does that work? Do you want to do this first?
Yeah. So we just wanted to do just a quick update for FY 2024 with the revenue projections. Right now, it's looking 2% over what was adopted in FY 2024 for the revenue projections. Income tax projections, 90,000, and the public utility tax projections are estimated at 15 over what was budgeted. 2 bonds were paid off, one in November, one in February. So it puts about 300,000 back in our operating budget. Our revenue for FY 25, which is what you have in your binders right now, is estimated at 7.2 million for general fund, 3.2 million for enterprise. Our expenses are 7.1 million for general fund, 3.2 for enterprise. So we're looking at right now 103,000 in general fund to transfer to the fund balance, 14,000 transferred in enterprise to the fund balance. We do have, which Karen will kind of go over, in the very back of your binder, we have supplemental information because we wanted to make sure we broke out information that kind of explains what we have in the budget. Karen, do you want to?
Yeah, so you have your binders. These are the ones you'll bring to the work session scheduled for next week. Your first tab is your operating budget. I've also put extra tabs that separate general fund and enterprise fund, so as you're looking through, make it a little easier. Your second tab is the capital budget. Your third tab is the grants. We have at this point, have an expectation that we'd like approval to apply for these during the year.
Yeah, we broke those out. Those are ones we consistently kind of apply for, community parks and playgrounds, and
Just so we're not bogging you guys down during regular meetings.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great to see that in
Like,
summary
this
form.
is like way further than what we requested in a really good way, and I really, really appreciate that.
And so you'll see that grant information in there. Tanya will be at one of the work sessions. She can kind of just give an overview. The final tab at the very back is a supplemental page, like Carolyn said. I created a table of contents so you could get to things such as additional position justifications, our current bank balances, the debt schedule, an ARPA update. We can add to it as we go, as you guys request additional information. So first work session's next Thursday, 5:30 p.m.
that's on our next one. Yeah.
And it's there. Right here at the Liberty Building, so we'll dive in then. I didn't, want to, unless you had questions, I wanted to give you this week to kind of go through some of the stuff and form your own opinions, and then we can discuss at the work session.
That's it.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions? Like 1 minute worth of questions?
I have a comment or two. One, I want to thank town manager and our finance director and all the department heads for presenting a balanced budget. I know that takes extra effort, but it was the right thing to do, and I'm really grateful that y'all put in the effort to generate a balanced budget for us as a starting point, So that's great. I have a challenge for my fellow council members. We're a policy body. So I think that it would be helpful, we don't have to share them later, but I think if we each thought of 1, 2, maybe even 3 priorities, big picture priorities that we each want to pursue, public works, parks, economic development, utility rates, operational efficiency with the administration through software or whatever your priorities are, think about those. And if you want to share it when we start this discussion, I think that will be helpful for us to understand the perspective that each of us brings into this and what we want to accomplish. And we should strive to put those policy priorities in the dollars and cents. Thank you.
I appreciate that. It's a great idea, Jim.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Next
Seriously,
week.
thank you, guys.
Yeah, hopefully everything's here, but we'll add every week.
I'm yelling.
All right, well, it's 7:06, so now we're late for our public hearing. Just can't get it right. We will now go into a public hearing on ordinance 1-2024, purchase of map 44C, parcel 1086. 1 second. Okay. The subject of this hearing is ordinance 1-2024, an ordinance for the purpose of accepting a special warranty deed for the parcel of real property known as map 44C, parcel 1086, located on South Commerce Street, and to authorize the town manager to execute any and all documents necessary to consummate the purchase in compliance with the Charter of the Town of Centerville, Article 3, Section 301, Paragraph 46, and Section 5204C1 of the Local Government Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and all matters related thereto. I will now ask Town Manager Carolyn Brinkley to provide a background on Ordinance 01-2024.
So this, for anyone who isn't aware what map 44C parcel 1086 is the property at the, I say, bottom of the hill of, across from Sitco, next to Hillside. That is currently owned by State Highway Property. They purchased it as part of their mitigation for 301 overpass. And the town has been looking at this property for a while to help with some stormwater, green space, habitat, that sort of thing. So we were able to work with State Highway through different, there were 4, I think, appraisals done on the property, and work with Queen Anne's County to get program open space money to purchase this property. So that is it.
Awesome. I will now call Gay Adams, Town Clerk, to present evidence of the published notice of this hearing.
Certificate of publication, the State of Maryland, County of Queen Anne's County. This is to certify that the annexed legal advertisement has been published in the Bay Times Record Observer. Listed and ordinance number 01-2024 was published in 2/16/24.
Great. We will first hear from all those in favor of proposed ordinance 01-2024, and then hear from those opposed. Please keep all comments to 3 minutes. You are welcome to provide written testimony to the town council as well. Can you read the public comment guidelines?
I will. Welcome to this meeting of the Centerville Town Council. This is a public meeting, and we welcome your participation. By attending, you acknowledge that this session is recorded and aired live on QACTV 7. During the meeting, we ask that you turn your cell phones off and hold personal conversations outside the meeting room. The scheduled agenda is available on the information table outside. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The Town Council respects and appreciates your desire and right to convey your message freely. And keeping with the dignity of proceedings, we ask that all views be expressed in a respectful and civil manner. Comments longer than 3 minutes should be submitted in writing. If questions are part of your comments, refer to those to the appropriate individual. Thank you.
Thank you. We will hear from those in favor. If there's anyone here to speak on ordinance 01-2024, we did receive a letter and a few emails, including one kind of later today, in support. We will hear from those opposed to proposed ordinance 01-2024, if anyone's here for that. Okay. Lively. The Centerville Town Council will consider all comments presented this evening before making a final decision regarding proposed ordinance 01-2024. Do I hear a motion to adjourn this hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the hearing is adjourned. Okay, we will now go into a citizens forum. Citizens are requested to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Are there any citizens that wish to address the council? Okay. Now we have old business, and that's the consideration of the ordinance that we just held that really long hearing for. So, if anyone, we did receive, like I said, we did receive some testimony in writing in support of the purchase. There-
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 01, 2024.
Second.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Beecham?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Worth?
Yes.
Councilmember
Yes.
Keel? Okay. Great.
So Town Manager, you'll keep us informed of the progress of this and
Yes.
as it goes through MDE towards Board of Public Works.
Correct. And for their, the deadline for Board of Public Works is March 28th, so I think that's their May meeting. I think there's a May meeting. So, yeah, so tomorrow we'll get that letter of intent will go out and a copy of the ordinance to the state highway.
Okay, great. All right, next up, under new business, we have the request for approval, lease of the water reuse farm. Town
So-
Manager, you want to go over that?
Sure. So we put out a bid, a request for bids for a farmer for a water reuse farm on 751 Hope Road. 3 bids were received, and staff is recommending the award be, the bid be awarded to John Cannon at $295 an acre, which is a total of $59,000 a year. The original lease that was sent out last week had not been vetted by Sharon yet. She just got back, our town attorney just got back to me today, and her changes are what you have in your packet. It's in track changes. So you probably have not had a chance, obviously, to review any of this, but the lease part.
The lease does have the additional insurance and liability language that we talked about after reviewing a previous lease. So I think, for me, I trust our town attorney. I feel comfortable with moving forward with it. If anyone wants to make a motion.
Has this particular recommendation, has this entity leased from us before?
He has leased from us before, yes, yes.
Successfully?
Correct, yes. Yes.
One motion. I make a motion to approve the farm lease agreement for the Centerville Water Reuse Farm at 751 Hope Road to John Cannon at the price not to exceed $295 per acre for a total of $59,000.
I'll second that.
So can I have some discussion?
Yeah.
So this is the normal language to purchase something? So the not to exceed phrase may not be
Well, you are
appropriate
correct. You are correct.
for this type of contract?
True, yeah.
I'd like to offer a friendly amendment to strike the 3 words not to exceed.
Both okay with that?
Absolutely.
Thank you for catching that. I did not catch that.
It is free to exceed.
Free, is that what it is? Oh, free to exceed.
Can be in excess of that in whatever amount the tenant desires.
This is where we don't want the lowest bid.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Beecham?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Councilmember Worth?
Yes.
Councilmember Keel?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. All right, next up, we have Resolution 06-2024. This is the removal of floating holidays, and
Yes,
You got it.
so I can do that. This is mainly, the only department with the town that has floating holidays is the police department, and I believe this was a recommendation. It was easier with scheduling, that sort of thing. So this was the only change that we're asking to be made, and this is for our personnel manual. So this will be stricken from the personnel manual, and then they would just be, if they work, then they are paid, I'm not sure what that is, time and a half. And if they don't work, they just get the regular holiday off, like.
right, and so previously, if someone was working a holiday, they were just getting another day.
Correct.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
I think it was more a scheduling issue.
Chief, you gotta, if you're gonna, you gotta come.
Yeah, it's for scheduling
Okay.
purposes, yeah.
Ew. Cool. This is a resolution, so we can act on it
Correct.
tonight, okay? Does anyone wish to make a motion related to this?
Move approval of Resolution 06-2024.
Second that?
Any discussion? All right, Councilmember Beecham?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Councilmember Worth?
Yes.
Councilmember Keel?
Yes.
All right, we got lots of stuff to sign tonight, so nobody leave when we're done. That's right.
Exactly.
We're rolling on through some stuff. Okay. We already did the budget presentation, so next up is Resolution 7-2024, annexation of the lands of Robert H. Karen, manager Providence at Centerville LLC. And so we can go over that. Carolyn, did you want to, I know Sharon has vetted this, but she's not able to be here.
Correct.
And just while I'm thinking of it, sorry, I did tell Council Vice President Johnson that I would mention that he is ill and not just choosing not to be here. Forgot to do that at the beginning. Okay. Back on track.
So this is the resolution for the annexation of the property. There is another legislation that goes along with this, which is a request to change the zoning for that property as well. That was my fault. I did not put it in this packet, so it is going to be on your March 21st agenda. So if you have any questions about this,
So just process.
right, just process.
I know, I have a process question.
Okay.
So we just refer it to Planning Commission, or not, I guess, or do we have to? I mean, I want to, obviously, I'm just curious.
Yes, you do. You do
Okay.
refer to the planning commission, and then they will come back with a recommendation to the town council on
And
their
the plan would be
thoughts.
for them to hear this in April?
They will hear it in April. So their April meeting, they'll actually hear this resolution for the annexation as well as the zoning ordinance as well, which you guys won't get until the 21st of.
Okay. You're all here. Is there something that you wanted to say? Just, no? Okay.
I have questions I haven't answered, but I wanted to come and
I
show our face, and it's important that everybody that's here, so.
I appreciate that and personally hesitate to ask any questions until the council's attorney is here, but if anyone else wants to ask
So is the
questions.
intent to pass this resolution tonight or talk about it?
No, not, just to refer it to the Planning Commission.
Okay. If I may make a couple of comments.
Yeah.
I have real heartburn over 25 years of tax abatement. I think that's quite a bit out of line with things. And when you think about 25 years, it's easy just to write the number down. But for each of us to think where we were 25 years ago, in March of 1999, I was working for a technology company in Austin, Texas. I think our council president was probably in middle school.
Probably not even.
So a lot changes.
I mean, if we're just being honest.
A lot changes in 25 years is what I'm saying. And it just, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's the only big question I have that I wanted to talk to Sharon about, because I know
Yeah.
she vetted some or all of this, I guess. I'll ask you if you don't know, we can wait for Sharon, but once there is water and sewer capacity and service to the property, the abatement goes away if that's prior.
Correct.
So this is just protection against if we don't ever expand the plant. Okay.
You know, I mean, the taxes in the meantime are nominal.
Yeah.
What, like $700, $750 for the taxes? If in theory, hypothetical taxes to the town right now would be a little over $700, so it's kind of noise. And I would submit that in terms of staff time dedicated to make sure this project is a success, we would invest a lot more than $700 a year in staff
Probably.
time and photocopies and who knows what all. So, in a prior career in economic development, I never saw an abatement this long. 10 years was sort of the stretch of what we'd do, even for semiconductor plants. 10 years is about it, and those are throwing off a lot of jobs and a lot of ancillary wealth to the community, so I have heartburn with that. The zoning, where they talk about nothing would be done more densely than R1, does that preclude some sort of mixed use blended in? Does it preclude commercial development along 304?
Joe, do you want to come up here? You can sit down.
However you'd like to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stand there.
I haven't had
Open
the
mic night
benefit
at
of
the
seeing a
town
master
council.
plan or some other documents, and my apologies, because
No,
I think
that's
you
all right.
invited me back in November maybe, and it was right after my accident, and I was not that.
No apologies
accessible,
necessary,
so.
completely understandable. Joe Stevens, I represent Providence at Centerville LLC, and as you can see, we have everybody here who has an interest in it. Bob Karen, the owner and manager, Bill Stoops, is working with us, as well as Bob's daughter, who also has an interest in the property. So the question in regards to the R1 is that we agreed that we're going to, what we put in the annexation agreement, we're proposing to the town, and obviously this is for discussion with you all over the next couple of months, because this isn't going to happen immediately, is that we would do the project when we come in with a project, which we won't do till your sewer and water till your sewer situation is more solidified, so to speak. We would come in and do a PUD, and that PUD would include a mix of housing ranges. The sense that we have from the town and the plan is that they're looking to provide for some workforce housing, as well as maybe some senior housing, not active adult, but perhaps some senior housing, some single family, and there may be some attached housing, like townhomes for first-time home buyers and things of that nature. And we would bring that in a planned unit development, and that's how we would proceed. And that's what the annexation agreement says. We won't just come in with a cookie-cutter subdivision, and we're going to contractually bind ourselves to that provision. So that's
Where this document says towards the end that this document will prevail over other documents, that's a little stressful for me, because I'm not sure what other documents might say that we have to worry about conflicts.
I'm not sure exactly what provision you're referring to, but I'd be,
Section 9, I think, Joe. Section 9, the terms of this resolution shall prevail over any consistent terms in such agreement, and it's referring to
you're in the resolution?
annexation, yeah, sorry.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yeah. I think that.
That's all I had, so.
Oh, right, no, well, you should have the whole binder.
No, I
with
have the whole
annexation
thing, yes.
agreements, Right. Terms of section 9.
And we don't need to resolve it
annexation
now, I
expenses.
just wave that as a flag, like,
All right, it's just
I'm
return
concerned
to-
about what that may mean, and the ramifications of that as, being the more senior document right off the bat.
Annexation of the agreement, yeah, well, look, I'm happy to talk to you about that. I mean, this is a pretty boilerplate form annexation, which I've used many times, and I went, I sent it to Sharon, she made some edits and some comments on it as well. But if there's any of those provisions that give you concern, we're happy to talk about them. I mean, it's not.
Don't misunderstand my comments. I'm for annexation of this property under the proper terms and with the right vision. I tried to recruit this to be annexed when Pete Schaefer owned it, and when we talk about abatement, I told him I'd fight for the 5 years when the county has control over land use. I said we'll abate you for those 5 years, just because we don't have control over it.
Right.
So that's sort of a position that I've had previously on this exact tract.
All right. Well, there's some nuances in terms of if we are rezoned, what happens to the agricultural assessment and so on. And
So much better than the rest of it.
we can sit down and go through those. I'm sure we can come to a situation that you'll be satisfied with on this. But I do appreciate your comments. And if any of you want to talk to myself or Mr. Karen, please feel free to reach out. Okay? All right.
Could be an exciting project.
Yeah, we're real excited about it, actually. Thank you.
Since we have to give it to the planning commission, it happens. Do we have to vote on that, or?
I would vote to forward it to the planning commission.
Okay, do we have a motion to forward this to the planning commission?
I move that we forward this to Planning Commission for their consideration and guidance.
Second.
Just the resolution, yeah. Are we just forwarding the resolution, or there's also?
Good question.
Technically, the resolution, yes.
Yeah.
They actually do have their own binders, but it is technically the resolution that you're.
And then
Just
all
the
that's
resolution.
in support of.
Oh, the rest is in support of that, okay.
Perhaps our liaison to the Planning Commission could carry forward our comments we've made tonight.
Yes, I certainly will.
Thank you.
All right,
We can show up in person at the public hearing.
yes, at the next meeting, there'll be the next piece, and I will not be here next meeting, but I'm in favor of this all going to the planning commission, and had a really excellent meeting with the team, and feel pretty good about the at least early vision. So, all those in favor of forwarding the resolution to the planning commission, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, awesome.
And then when the planning commission comes back, the town council can talk, we have to schedule a public hearing, I'm sorry. Yeah, we have to advertise for 4 weeks in a row, and then we can't have the public hearing any sooner than 15 days from the last advertisement. So, yeah.
It's a long
It is a long hearing, yeah. So it's not going to be, soon that.
When people complain about how long it takes to get things done with government, I've learned that's a really good thing, because it gives everybody a chance to reflect on it, especially a project of this scale.
Right.
So
Yeah.
being in a rush, my apologies, is not necessarily a good thing to do here. Good, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Not mistake the rest of the meeting.
I mean, there's just tons of fun stuff you could provide. I mean, we have another citizens forum, Joe. 3 minutes, all yours. Bye-bye.
Bye. They're animated in the back doing all of it.
I know. All right. Any correspondence? Do we have any correspondence? No?
No.
You would know if we did. No. So it's not a trick question. I have not had enough sleep, so I apologize for my behavior. All right, reports of boards and commissions, Maryland Municipal League.
Not much to report. I will say there's some quiet anxiety about highway user revenues. We fought for that. I was on the team that testified and fought for that years ago to restore highway user revenues. It was a hard-fought battle over the course of a few years. And there's, with all the news about the transportation budget, there's some anxiety about how that may be impacted. So hopefully this year it's in our budget as full boat.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Council of Governments.
No report. Have a meeting next Wednesday.
Are you going to be the new secretary of the Council of Governments?
Should be. I think that would be really awesome.
I hear they're in want of one, so I just, if interested.
Meeting, I think.
Were you?
That's it.
Exactly.
All right, just trying to help you out, Carolyn, where I can.
Yes.
All right, Economic Development, Eric's not here. I have nothing for Park Advisory Board. They did meet this week. I was out of town, so I wasn't able to be there, but there were no requests of the council, so that's great. Planning Commission.
The Planning Commission had a work session last night. We were working on the amendments to the zoning map that the comprehensive plan has recommended. So we actually got down to individual properties and, deciding where the boundary would be. And also, they were talking about their bylaws, but they wanted to amend their bylaws. But the next meeting will be March 20th. And so we'll continue with the map changes. And it looks like they get to see this in April, I believe, at their regular meeting, right? Not a work session, right? So they've scheduled work sessions every month.
Great.
2 in May. So they're meeting like every other Wednesday.
Wow.
Yes, there's a lot of work to be done to get the the recommendations,
Right.
the comprehensive plan in place. And with this annexation, there'll be some changes needed to the PUD ordinance as well. So.
Okay. Great. Reports of department heads, town manager.
I only have a couple things. One from the not from the Park Advisory Board, but the Park Advisory Board was working on street tree
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
plantings.
Thank you.
So they have asked the town's permission to plant 2 trees on the property that we own at 101 South Liberty, which is just right over here on the corner of Liberty and Water. So I just wanted the council's okay.
Yeah, if I could just say,
Yeah.
so they've identified several street tree wells around town that are empty. We had Sharon draft just a really brief letter, but that explains to a property owner, we'd like to plant a tree for you, but then it's your tree and all of the responsibility to keep that tree alive and is yours. And so that was great and super helpful of Sharon. Then they went to look at who the property owners are. The county owns a couple, we own a couple, some private individuals have a couple. So I would be very much in favor of allowing them to plant trees in our empty street tree wells, but they do need our permission. They asked what the process is, and I don't think anyone's ever asked to give us trees before, so this is the process.
This is the process, I guess. We've never been asked. So, yeah.
If we could ask the Parks Board to look into tree rings, we've talked about this with relation to the
Yes.
subdivision ordinance, that would allow the trees to thrive, but without threatening adjacent sidewalks, et cetera. I know other jurisdictions, City of Annapolis for one, has requirements for that.
I think there was
And I think they just call them
language,
tree rings, I don't know.
I think there was language that's been written to include in our code that probably needs to come back to the planning commission at some point. Or maybe it's gone from the planning commission and it should come to the council at this point. I have to double check on that, but
This would be a great time to push it forward when we're talking about some new street trees. Thank you.
one other thing, there are 4 parking spaces out here. I think it's 4, it's not 3. Here on Liberty Street.
I'm in one of them right now.
Staff has an issue when we pull out, you can't see down the road. We've had other people who have come in and complained that you cannot see when you're coming out of Lawyers Row. You have to basically be out in the middle of Liberty Street to see any cars coming down.
You're talking about the ones on the courthouse side,
Correct, the courthouse side.
so not the Liberty Building
Not the
side,
Liberty
the
Building
courthouse side.
courthouse side.
All right.
So, just a question I wanted to ask the council and I don't know if we even got rid of one at the very end, if it would help, but it's the council's authority to either add or remove parking spaces. But it is a very dangerous trying to get out either across the street or even pulling out on Liberty Street.
I would suggest before we do anything permanent, could we just mark that end spot, no parking? Let's see what that does, and we can,
The one closest to
the one
water, or,
that's causing you think might be causing the biggest problem, or if it's all of them, or whatever it is. No, mark them no parking and see if it helps.
There has been, I don't know if it's still there or not, a pretty unique sign that says small cars only, trying to support that, the ability to see around it. I don't know if people pay attention to that or not, but that was a Band-Aid approach trying to help this,
But
right?
doesn't the farmer's market use it for something too? I thought they used to use it for pickup or something.
I think during
COVID.
I think during
Now you have to
COVID,
come
they
get your
did.
own.
Yeah, now they're just on Lawyers Row now, I think. So maybe if I don't know if just maybe the last parking space closest to not Water Street, I'm sorry, Broadway, maybe if we mark that and we can see how that, what do you
I
think?
don't understand how that
It's
would
not
be
the
the
one that's
helpful
bothering you, though, is it?
The one that's bothering you would be the one closest to Lawyers Row.
Yeah.
I know, you can't see that, my thing is if I'm back far enough, then you can see if the light is green or red. If it's red, then you know they're not coming through. I don't know, maybe it's just me and my driving. But maybe it is the first one then, the first one we mark off.
Or the two ends, or whatever it is you think you
Yeah,
need to determine if this is gonna help, I guess is where I
You have a
am.
recommendation?
Maybe our chief could do a little site survey and come back with a recommendation of what to do with it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
While we're talking about parking, Ridgeview and Liberty Street. You know where you come out Ridgeview and
Or I almost got in a head-on collision the other day from an absolute lunatic.
because they park right
in
there
a-
by the barber shop.
Just flying down that
There
street.
used to be a little, the guy had a plant right there and you couldn't see past that, but he cut that down. But if there's actually a white van that parks there a lot. Yeah, I think he owns a couple other places there, and I'm telling you, it's bad. I've almost seen quite a few accidents there, but.
It is bad to try to pull out there.
Okay, I'm also bring up coming out of Fayette Street on the Liberty Street. It's the same issue. It's the same issue.
So what we've learned tonight is that no one associated with the town knows how to pull out onto a busy road.
No, you do, but like I'm telling you, when they come down
take your
Liberty
Well-
Street, they ain't going
And I do
25 miles
think,
an hour.
I do think there's
Downhill all the way. Yeah,
all
yeah.
of these parking spots near intersections that are either affecting crosswalk visibility or affecting the visibility to turn on another street, that maybe, Chief, if you could take a look at. So, I mean, we're a much bigger town than we were. Maybe when some of these parking spots were put in place, a lot more traffic, a lot of whatever.
Yeah.
Rather than us just all I mean, we're gonna get a lot of emails with random streets with bad turnoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, open that can of worms up.
Last thing I have, Council Vice President Johnson had asked for a presentation on an update on the wastewater treatment plant, which we were supposed to do it tonight. We wanted to bring in our engineers, Whitman Reckard, in case there were any technical questions. They have a prior engagements on Thursdays. They are not able to do Thursday evenings. So I didn't know if the council wanted to do a work session on another night, maybe, that we could get them here.
I'd be fine with that.
Are all of our budget workshops on Thursday nights?
They are.
Combination, maybe.
I thought about that as well, but yeah, no.
It's important, I think, especially with this annexation in play, you know, to
Yeah.
find out where we are on that, yeah.
Okay.
As soon as possible.
I will get some dates from them, and then I will email the council and see what dates work for all of you as well. Okay.
A smell test on where MDE is right now.
I'm sorry.
Smell test on where MDE is right now.
So right now, and they're currently working on reviewing our preliminary engineering report. So we are anticipating comments back by the end of March, beginning of April. But, so hopefully within the next, I'm going to say, less than a month, we'll have our comments back from them. We'll probably have to do some changes to the report and then, you know, off to them for a final approval, so.
Would that be a prerequisite for this meeting, this special meeting we're talking about?
That is probably a
I
good
think,
idea.
Would the content benefit from having that report back, is what I'm saying?
I think we should get an update now and then, again, after the report comes back. Yeah, I think it's helpful that be apprised of this. We haven't heard anything about it in quite a while, right, so.
Okay. All right, we'll do that. That's all I have.
All right, is Chief of Police and, okay. Oh, can you come? I have things for you.
That's the last thing I wanted to hear.
I know, very, very brief. Curious if there's been any enforcement. We had talked about when the speed limit lowered to 15 in the school zone, doing some, at least warning to people. Has that been happening?
Yes.
You've pulled over like 1 million cars?
Not quite 1 million, no. Probably not as much as you would like at this time. But there has been enforcement action since the drop of that 15-mile-an-hour zone. We intend to hit it quite hard here sooner than later because we give them about a good month or so to get warnings out, to educate, to make sure they understand that the speed limit is what it is. It's not 25 anymore. After that, we tend to go more citations, especially if we get egregious speeds.
Yeah, I trust your judgment on the shift from warning to citation. There, residents of Centerville, my favorite place on the internet, there is a thread about this. Of course there is, about the speed, and there were some people who were confused and thought that it was just the morning. And I guess if you're riding by that sign at 25, you might not be able to read it. But just some, I think, just broader throughout that window, understanding that there's a lot of things in town that you all need to be doing, and it's not just sitting in one neighborhood.
It's certainly important.
Policing, but especially when the kids are collected at the bus stop, that bus stop that's like the one bus stop in the neighborhood, there's been concern about that. So I would just love to know over the next month or whatever it is, sort of what enforcement looks like on that.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. See, that wasn't bad. Thank you, Chief, for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anything else on the town staff front? Okay. We will now go into our second citizens forum. Ooh. All right, don't all jump up at once. Council roundtable, Councilmember Keel.
Had some, remember how, I think, a few years ago, we sent a letter to State Highway about paving 213? Can we do that again for the other side of 213? Yes, from Gravel Run to Northbrook, because I hear a lot of complaints about it. Everybody thinks that's a town road. It's not, state highway, but if we can just send a letter to them and ask them, we would like it to be paved, so.
And
Not that it's going to get done, but.
the area in front of the police department that you had talked to me about, I
Yes.
guess from when there was the water leak, that is slated to be fixed
Oh.
here shortly. Yeah, the dip. that you hit your head when you're in the fire engine or
Yes.
something.
You gotta slow way down, you gotta go to like. Not in a fire truck, not supposed to wear them in the fire engine, but yes, we do wear them. Maybe we should put them on from now on.
Oh, man. All right, Councilman, is that all? I'm sorry.
The other thing is, we met with the mill owner,
Did do that.
Oh, okay.
and he had a structural engineer come in and said, the building is not falling down, but the metal is falling off the building, and he is supposed to be working to get a contractor to come in and repair the metal on the building, and he will keep us updated and see, I think he said when the weather breaks, so.
He did offer to meet with us again a month. We met with him a couple weeks ago. He said he's over here once a month, and we basically are going to meet with him right now until we are working on it. We are aware of the challenges. I know there is some concern that it is going to fall on the road. I do not share that concern, knowing that the structural engineer reviewed it, but also do understand that it can't just be exposed to the elements forever and maintain that structural integrity. And I just think, personally trying to exercise some patience in the situation, and maybe other people could try that too.
Because he did have some health problems. He was going to get it
Yeah.
done before, but then he came into some health problems, lost the contractor that he had, was going to do the work, so now he has to find another one.
And he and a couple of members of his family were here. They seemed very sincere, and I think we need to give them a chance to.
Did you guys get a copy of the report from the structural engineer?
I believe Chip had already gotten that
I'll look for
previously.
that. I don't know that
Yes.
that I've seen it, but have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I think Chip's.
But we can, I think we can ask for that, and he would have no problem
Yeah.
providing
Okay.
it.
And I'll
Alright,
look
good.
for it. I'll look for it.
The owner of the mill was definitely open to continue discussion with the town, and frankly, he's who said, when do you want me back in here, a month? And we said, oh, sure. We'll see you again in a month.
What about repairing the roof? Because there's quite
So
a,
he said he has recently been up there to make some repairs on the roof,
Okay.
and that he is looking for contractors. Sounded like there weren't many contractors in the old mill metal fabrication business. But I did express to him that should he not be able to find a contractor, the option doesn't become just let it ride. So it's, we find a contractor and we fix it, or something else has to happen. There is no option where the mill just stays how it is right now in perpetuity, and he said he understood that. So we'll see. I'm trying to be patient, as hard as it is, and I really hope no part of it falls in the road, but I know people think, and even the newspaper thought, it's just gonna fall. I don't think that's gonna happen. It might not be the most beautiful building in town, but I don't think there's a risk of it just falling over into the road. Okay.
That's it.
Okay, Councilmember Beecham.
I think I've used my quota of words for today.
Councilmember Worth.
I forgot to mention that at the last planning commission meeting in February, there's a proposal for a mixed-use building to be constructed on North Commerce Street, kind of like 2 lots north of the health department building. So planning commission reviewed that, and I believe they're coming back for final approval in April. So,
Anything
that's
else?
all. Yeah.
Okay. Council Vice President Johnson did send Carolyn and I his roundtable item. The nonprofit initiative that he's been working on with the Midshore Community Foundation, CREED, which stands for Centerville Reaching for Economic Development Enterprise, will be meeting again in April. They've delayed their launch for strategic reasons, but they will publicize the date and time for the launch imminently, it says. So I have no further details. I share that sum total of information that I have. I have nothing. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Drop the gavel. We have to sign things, yes?
Yes.